Oh shit, here we go again. Punk motherfucker!
It's the franchise rated mature, what many of us didn't knew back then cause we couldn't read yet. Rockstar's Grand Theft Auto has become the most recognizable and best-selling franchise of all time with 14 titles released. As of July 2021, Rockstar has garnered a net worth of more than $4 billion, which is more than I can afford.
Opportunity!
Before we start the rankings, subscribe to my channel right now. It's such a small thing for you but means a lot to me, and I can guarantee you one thing, which is great quality content. Note that this list won't include two-dimensional titles before GTA 3 but the ones after it. Chinatown Wars returns to a top-down perspective. While fans of first GTA entries loved it, some people felt it was a bit silly and downgraded at the end of 2000s, when GTA 4 was already released. Stories focused around Triad member Hung Lee, who travels to Liberty City to deliver the Juan sword, a family heirloom won in a card game by his recently murdered father, to his uncle Wu Kenny Lee. But upon arrival, Hung's escort is killed by unknown assailants who steal the sword. This game has a totally new cartoonish presentation with comic book cutscenes. To me it felt a bit silly, being vice versa of a serious GTA 4 at the time. It did brought something new to the table. Losing amount of wanted level depends on how many cop cars you destroyed. Then there's digging weapons out of dumpsters and etc. 1.2 million copies has been sold by November 2013.
Go pick it up, give me a call.
What am I, your driver? Screw you.
Liberty City Stories is a prequel to the events of GTA 3. Being the expansion on the backstory of Leon family, the game has a traditional mafia story. If you're a fan of Godfather or Sopranos, this is a game for you.
I tell you, even in my own family, I feel like Jesus, surrounded by 12 Judases.
In 1998, Leon mobster Tony Cipriani, yes, the one you work for in GTA 3, returns home to Liberty City after forced to live abroad following the murder of a made man. Liberty City Stories had unfortunate timing of being released right after the legendary San Andreas. You could ride bikes, travel by trains and even ferries, but you couldn't crouch, fly airplanes and swim. San Andreas finally made swimming possible a year before this game, and now once again, this really downgraded the game. There's a lack of cutscenes, characters just stand there and talk, no camera angles and movement.
Now you're disrespecting O Vincenzo.
But some improvements from GTA 3 is a map system. You're finally being able to see Liberty City in menu. Firing weapons locks the camera at the enemy, making it very easy to kill in a matter of seconds. The game's setting includes locations that are being constructed or buildings that are nowhere to be found by 2001. When this game was released, it was truly a paradise to own a portable GTA, being the 16th highest selling game launched for PSP. About 19 million copies has been sold.
You wish I had Cass's guts? Okay, Ma, you asked for them.
Coming at number 8, Vice City Stories feels like San Andreas because of a lot of features added from it, such as swimming, multiple outfits to wear, gang wars and etc. The game is set in 1984 and has the most vibrant looking open world that Rockstar has ever built. Story follows the life of Vic Vance, yes, a guy that is killed by the gunman at the very beginning of GTA Vice City. This game, set 2 years before those events, follows Vic stationed at Vice City's army base.
Vic Vance reporting for duty, sir!
He agrees to help his corrupt supervisor Sergeant Jerry Martinez just so he could raise money for medication for his sick brother Pete. Corrupt Sergeant Jerry hides drugs under his bed and even brings a prostitute to the base, resulting in Vic being dishonorably discharged from the army.
Drugs, whores, you're out of here, soldier.
Why are you messing with me, Sergeant?
Vic rebuilds his life in the streets with help of some people including brother Lance, and he's really annoying. All the time you're aware that he's gonna betray you at the very end of Vice City.
Oh, give me a break, man! I've changed!
Like in Vice City, soundtrack plays a huge role in creating the 80s atmosphere. Phil Collins even performs in one mission and you gotta protect him while somebody tries to kill him. biggest highlight of the game is empire building. You can take over business from other gangs and then purchase the land. You also get to choose what type of business. About 6 million copies has been sold of this unit. Moving on to Dark Streets of Liberty City. Lost and Damned added a new biker campaign. Game takes place in Liberty City around the same time as Nico's adventures.
Do me a favor. Go easy on the fat man.
What happens to this shithead is none of your concern.
You play as Johnny Klebitz, who was a vice president of biker gang The Lost. Yes, he was. Billy Gray, president of the Lost Motorcycles Club Alternate Chapter, is welcomed back by his fellow gang members. He annoys Johnny by breaking a truce Johnny had with Lost rivals Angels of Death during the absence. Whole story is about the near collapse of that unit at the hands of its leader Billy Gray.
They were pissed, and they had a reason. Your bike chopped that girl's leg off.
Rockstar adds some new weapons like auto shotgun, auto pistol and grenade launcher. You spend most of the time driving bike, which is while you'll be introduced to many new bikes, and they'll be a lot of fun to drive because Rockstar improved the driving mechanics and it's not that easy to fall off a bike like in GTA 4. Number 6. This entry added parachutes, sticky bombs, tanks, new sport cage fighter inspired by Fight Club. I wanna mention the episodic structure as Rockstar decided to take two characters you saw playing GTA 4 and now make them being protagonists in episodes from Liberty City. This smart writing brought an overall bigger picture. In GTA 5 you can switch to different protagonists, and here you get the more detailed picture cause it's like Rockstar merged three characters in one storyline through the various events. Tony's story starts in the middle of GTA 4's bank heist mission. If you play as Nico, you're robbing a bank, but playing as Luis, you're witnessing the robbery, and that's the opening of the game. Luis finds himself working with both Maury and Rocco Pelosi to pay off his business partner and nightclub owner Tony Prince's debts.
Sounds pretty usual.
Oh, thanks for the support.
Hey, that's what I'm here for, boss.
The Ballad of Gay Tony lightened the mood with the bright neon colors and brought the humor from 3D universe. Everything that was missing in GTA 4 is now brought and visualized.
If I see another tourist today, I'll puke.
Graphically is a better and clearer game than the previous two entries. Episodes from Liberty City has sold 3 million units by November 2013. First three-dimensional GTA revolutionized open world gaming. To a lot of people, this is where the Grand Theft Auto really started.
I see nothing but good things for you, my boy.
During a bank robbery, Claude is betrayed by his girlfriend Catalina. He's arrested but escapes and befriends explosive expert 8-Ball, who introduces him to Leon Mafia family for work. Maria, wife of Salvatore Leon, informs Claude about Leon's decision to kill him because she lied to Salvatore about having an affair with him. Claude later finds new employment with various criminals just so he could get to Catalina and have his revenge. I love how this game goes straight to the point. You know who's the antagonist from beginning, while in Liberty City stories it was not really clear. Cutscenes feel way too fast. In this example, Salvatore starts talking before Claude even sits, and you always get a mission to complete without prejudice. Due to a mute protagonist, that limitation disabled any deeper character's development. But this game did come out in 2001 and our smartphone is more advanced than the whole technology back then. Vehicles are too sensitive and that same applies to Vice City. Events of 9/11 resulted Rockstar not including Twin Towers in Liberty City and removal of one mission as it made a reference to terrorists. Airplane is still included but impossible to fly. GTA 3 was the most violent game at a time because of its stunning realism that caused a lot of controversy, being called a crime simulation game. But that only brought more attention to it being the best-selling game of 2001, selling 14.5 million copies. There's just something about the dark atmosphere of Liberty City.
You are new in Liberty, but already you are gaining a reputation on the streets.
Bright pink neon, blue Hawaiian shirt and tons of cocaine. Vice City is the best time machine to the 80s you could ask for. Set in city based on Miami Beach and highly inspired by Scarface and Miami Vice, TV show that Dan Houser is a huge fan of. Rockstar took good qualities from GTA 3 and made a much better game in only 1 year. Yes, a fact that from 2001 to 2009, 8 GTA games came out shows how Rockstar was at its peak back then. From camera angles to performance, everything was a big upgrade from previous title. We actually get to know our badass protagonist Tommy Vercetti, portrayed by Ray Liotta, star of Goodfellas.
You're gonna find out who took our cocaine, and then gonna kill them.
That's a good idea.
Volume of celebrities that voiced characters was increased, including Philip Michael Thomas, Tom Sizemore, William Fisher, Burt Reynolds, Danny Trejo, Dennis Hopper, and even Jenna Jameson.
Sure, but you'd have to talk to my agent.
In 1986, mobster Tommy Vercetti is released from prison after serving a 15-year sentence for murder. His boss, Sonny Forelli, sends Tommy to Vice City to do the dirty work for him. After the drug deal went wrong, Tommy, with the help of lawyer Ken Rosenberg and various other criminals in the city, needs to recover the drugs alongside the money Sonny gave to him. What motivates you to complete the game 100% is ability to purchase properties across Vice City. Arguably, the biggest highlight in Vice City is its best soundtrack in video game history. How many of you waited until a certain song ended before saving the progress? Vice City has sold 17.5 million units. We already experienced Liberty City and State of San Andreas in HD Universe. Now we all agree that it's time for Vice City in its full dimensions. Number 3. In 2013, long-awaited Grand Theft Auto 5 was released, selling 140 million copies, becoming the best-selling game of all time. From watching animals in the woods to customizing cars and haircuts, what was totally absent in GTA 4. Even 8 years later, Rockstar's attention to detail is still breathtaking. For the first time, you could play as 3 characters at the same time, making the story much more complex. Michael DeSanta is a former bank robber who faked his death to retire and live a peaceful life with his family.
I'm paying that turd $150 an hour to fuck my wife?
Franklin Clinton has a desire to become something more than just a gangbanger, what he succeeds when he meets Michael. And Trevor Phillips is an aggressive criminal who founded his own company, Trevor Phillips Enterprises. If I start an explanation of each detail to do, this video would be like few hours long. A lot of people would rank this title as the best game of all time, including my little brother. But from my personal view, they went a bit too far, putting quantity over quality, if you know what I mean. I think GTA 5 was more about an overall experience. Everything felt like a one Hollywood blockbuster. Maybe I'm a guy who prefers more realistic picture of life, but we live in a time when even movies starts to feel like a video game. Simply put, I dislike the concept of storyline. If they focused on only one protagonist's life story like Michael's that felt most interesting, they would have opportunity to develop him as a much more complex and interesting character. I just didn't get the goosebumps I did with the storyline from my second favorite GTA on the list.
There was an Eastern European guy making moves in Liberty City.
I remember buying this game as a kid and watching it on the shelf for a few months because I still didn't own PS3. First time playing it, it was mind-blowing as I switched from 6th to 7th generation of gaming console. Liberty City based on New York is masterfully rendered. Brooklyn is Broker, Queens is Dukes, Manhattan is Algonquin, the Bronx is Boken, and state and city of New Jersey is Elderney. Niko Bellic, ex-Yugoslavian soldier, arrives in Liberty City to pursue the American dream and leave the dark criminal past behind.
War is where the young and stupid are tricked by the old and bitter into killing each other.
Unable to forget and emotionally scarred, he searched for the man who betrayed his unit in war 10 years prior by continuing his criminal life in Liberty City. The storytelling, dialogue, the performance is best in a series, with Niko being the most developed protagonist ever. I don't care what nobody says about driving mechanics, I love the realistic approach. Dark atmosphere to the point you have to adjust the brightness serves as a setting to Niko's revenge story. I gotta admit the truth that first time I played GTA 4, I disliked the darkness and color mount, but 13 years later, I appreciate this game more than ever as I matured. While San Andreas illustrated how far series have come with giving players ability to purchase properties, tune your vehicle, change hairstyle, have a tattoo, well, None of that is possible in GTA 4, which is probably the reason why some people dislike GTA 4 so much. But still, I remember having so much fun playing multiplayer with the most realistic shooting mechanics and cover system. And how much time you spent doing this? Ragdoll physics is over the top thanks to Rage Engine and the most entertaining thing in the whole game. Because a storyline is set in modern times, we are introduced to more advanced phones, so you can organize optional hangouts with your friends.
Nico, it's your cousin. Let's go bowling.
Yeah, but still better than have no life at all. Hanging out with your friends can make your friendship grow to the point that they do you a favor like discounted weapons or backup. If you're interested in rampaging, well, even San Andreas has more features.
Where's sports car? Where's Barbara with big titties and Stephanie who sucks like a vacuum?
But if you care about the storyline like myself, Grand Theft Auto 4 is the best choice among so many titles. Sadly, probably due to a worst optimization, GTA 4 was released only for PS3, Xbox 360 and PC. But still 25 million copies has been sold, and I was even thinking about ranking GTA 4 as the best in the series. But we're moving on to the West Coast. GTA San Andreas is a timeless masterpiece. I spent crazy amount of time playing this game. Sometimes as a kid having a lunch in a bed with one hand while with other moving around PS2 controller's analog stick. At the time, San Andreas was a bigger game in every possible way than its predecessors. Building muscle at a gym, gang wars, customizing vehicle, dancing, buying properties, even chatting with street pedestrians. You can get girlfriends and take them out on a date. If you hang out with them for a certain amount of time, they invite you for a hot coffee. Rockstar combined cities based on Los Angeles, San Francisco, Las Vegas into one enormous map. In 1992, Carl Johnson returns home to Los Santos to attend his recently killed mother's funeral. CJ reunites with Sweet, Kendall, Big Smoke and Ryder and learns that Grove Street families have lost most of their influence and territories to their main rivals.
Abolish cars onto us. Split up. Keep up, motherfucker.
All the time, CJ is annoyed by Crash, Los Santos Police Department led by corrupt officer Timpenny, arguably the best villain in GTA universe, voiced by Samuel L. Jackson. You hate him to the point you wish him much more brutal death than in Final Mission. First time playing San Andreas, I was surprised with change of pace. At one point, you're taking over territories across Los Santos going to the top. In the very next mission, you find yourself in Angel Pine stealing tractors. From missions and cutscenes, you'll see Rockstar's trademark comedy style that was largely lacking in GTA 4.
All we had to do was follow the damn train, CJ.
Live the life you want to live, do the things you want to do, it's entirely up to you. That's what all the Rockstar's GTAs are known for, and San Andreas is no exception, with 21.5 million copies sold by March 2008, becoming the best-selling game for PlayStation 2. Today it's been 8 years since the release of Grand Theft Auto 5, but as always, Rockstar will surprise us with their next title sooner or later.
I guess.
What's your top 10 Grand Theft Auto games? Write down in comments. Thanks for watching and Atlantic Pictures signing off.